Good afternoon, racing fans. Jim Miller and the man from the most gorgeous kitchen in racing right now, David Kaplan, joining you tonight. This afternoon, I guess, whatever it is. Cap, how are you today? It's a nice sunny Thursday afternoon. The Preakness ahead of us, and you're tuning in from home before you head into work, huh?
Yep. I came home after radio, took my son to lunch, a little more reading on the Preakness, and then told you I'm changing my pick.
Change away. We're going to battle on the Preakness for sure today, Cap. Looking back, we're 2 weeks removed from the Kentucky Derby, and Cap, the weird thing about it, when we did this show 2 weeks ago, the Kentucky Derby winner wasn't even in the race. Rich Strike
wasn't even in the field.
Yeah, he was on the outside looking in. He didn't get in until just a few minutes before the deadline for scratches on that Friday leading up to Derby when they opened the windows at 9 a.m. A couple weeks ago Friday. So that's how unthinkable this result was of the Kentucky Derby, Cap. You see the prices right there, man. I'll tell you, here's the thing, though, Cap. You look at it, the second and third place finishers were both very logical horses, the favorite and the second choice, but completely illogical winner. And look at the exact and trifecta. Those are huge, Cap.
Oh, my God, $1 try. And it's funny, they were coming towards the gate, and my father-in-law and my wife are sitting. I'm looking right where they were sitting, and they're with me. And they're like, we should put a $6 trifecta box together. Epicenter, Zandon, and they said, we should put the 80 to 1 shot in there. And I kind of looked back at them like idiots. And they're like, yeah, no, we should probably try someone else. And I think they put Messier in. Yeah, that thing paid $14,870. And my father-in-law looked at me like, my boat needs some repairs. He has a little fishing boat. He's a retired man. He's got a small little fishing boat. He's like, that would have paid for it. I'm like, I didn't tell you not to play it. I just gave you a dirty look. That's all.
If they had played the Superfecta, Cap, which paid $321,000, he'd have a new boat.
Hold on a second.
Nice boat.
The Super paid $321 for $1, right?
For $1. Crazy.
How about if you had the guts to say, you know what, I'm going to take the 80 to 1 shot and just go 80 to 1 shot on top, and then Epicenter, Zandon with all.
Yeah, it wouldn't have cost that much. Here's the thing. People who hit the exact on the race, a lot of the way they did it was by back wheeling Epicenter. And what we mean by back wheeling is you take that horse and put it in first and second with the remainder of the field, and then you just need that one horse to run first or second in the race. And all of a sudden you get the bomb there. And Rich Strike, I mean, all the credit in the world to jockey Sonny Leone, Cap.
He was amazing.
Every right move. I mean, the coverage they had was incredible. The overhead shot of the move in the lane was awesome. To see the way he weaved his way through horses and the way the field came back, Cap. And it was one of those things. I always say pace makes the race in the Derby. I didn't think there was a whole lot of pace. And then I knew in the post parade that I was done when Summer Is Tomorrow ran out of the post parade, went running off into nowhere. You knew he was geared up. And it changed the whole pace complexion of the race. 21 and change for the quarter, 44 and change to the half. Anyone who was in the top 7 at the half was long gone by the top of the stretch, all because of what Summer Is Tomorrow did in that race.
Yep, absolutely. Just took off, burned everybody out. But the move that Sonny Leone made at the top of the stretch when he's there, he's got to dive. Jerry Bailey, I don't know if you watched the interview, Jerry Bailey said to, was it Liam McHugh, one of the guys there, he said that was a move that a 3-time Kentucky Derby winner makes. He said to see a guy who's never raced in this race with that pressure, that crowd, every eye in the racing world watching, 180,000 at the track, and to have the wherewithal to make the move, he said, I can't tell you how impressed I am.
Yeah, it was very impressive. It was the Mind That Bird type of trip that you saw at a Calvin Burrell when he brought Mind That Bird swooping around the turn, went outside of a horse and went down to the inside and just kept on going. And he won by even more in that race. But it's a journeyman rider. Great story. The trainer is a guy who's your everyday type of trainer. He runs horses at Hawthorne all the time. I mean, he's in there with a $15,000 maiden at times. He doesn't have a stable full of massive stakes horses. This was a horse they claimed for $30,000, Cap.
Last September.
Very cool. Yeah, right, last September. So think about that. Think about that return there. You claim this horse for 30 and say, not only are we going to think enough of it that it's going to be Triple Crown nominated, and then you're going to go all the way through. You're going to work leading into the race. This horse had the best workout leading into the race, but nobody thought he was going to be in the race. So they just kind of pushed him aside and didn't even consider him. And then all of a sudden, 99-1, all the way up until a couple hours before the Derby. And then he got down to 80-1. I still thought he had no shot, but man, pretty awesome effort. Very cool stuff, I thought.
Yeah, it was amazingly cool to sit there and watch it. And all of a sudden I see a horse diving toward the rail. I'm like, oh God, who is that? Oh my God, that's the 21 horse. I could not believe it. And I got to tell you, Chad Brown and some of these guys that are sitting there going, I think I got a shot in this race. And all of a sudden they're like, what the H just happened?
Yeah, exactly. Very cool. And here's the thing, credit, I watched both feeds of the race. I was watching the Churchill feed when it raced live. I went back and watched the NBC feed. Both track announcers caught the horse and got him right. And that was the one thing that you don't often see with these massive long shots, especially making the late move in the Derby, because they have to handicap a little bit for their call. I know they missed Mind That Bird. He was 3 lengths ahead by the time they caught him, if not further.
I just went back and watched that. And you hear, was it Dave Johnson?
Yeah.
You hear him say, so-and-so and so-and-so, so-and-so. And there's Mind That Bird.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah. It was cool. And they caught him. They caught Rich Strike right as he was coming alongside those two. The focus was on Epicenter and Zandon, which it should have been. But when he got into the mix, they did catch him in time. It was very cool to see a very cool race. Now, where that leads us, Cap, coming off of that, Rich Strike and the connection said, okay, we're not going in the Preakness. We're going to go in the Belmont, which is 1.5 miles. I agree with that move because this is a horse that at 1 mile 3/16 in the Derby was not going to win the race. Needed a full 1.25 miles. So at 1 mile 3/16 of the Preakness in a shorter field, I don't think he could win that race. I think he could finish 3rd or 4th. I don't think he would win. So what you do, you give him an extra 3 weeks of time, 5 weeks between races. 1.5 miles is right up this horse's alley. I think Rich Strike can win the Belmont. But what do you make of a person who not only watches horse racing, but you talk about sports in the mainstream to not even see a horse take a shot at the Triple Crown?
So as someone who has owned a thoroughbred, I understand that thought process. Look, if I put this horse in a race that it's going to get embarrassed or, tighter turns at Pimlico, it's a tougher track to close on. I get it. I understand where he's coming from. And if he truly believed, you heard what they said after they won the race. We don't put horses in races that we don't think we can win.
Right.
We don't use races just as conditioning or, just to see what we don't think we can win it. We put that horse in because we thought if he runs his best race, he can win the Derby. And he did. So I'm fully supportive of the decision they made. Disappointing we won't have a shot at a Triple Crown, but I understand what they did.
Yeah, I agree with you. I understand what they did too. Now, we get to the Preakness on Saturday, and here's the cool thing. Looking at the field, there's some cool stories in here, Cap. All right, you get Epicenter, who ran a gigantic race in the Derby, only to finish second, beaten 3/4 of a length. But you get the Oaks winner in this spot too, in Secret Oath. You go back to that Mind That Bird year in 2009. Well, you know what? The horse that won the Oaks that year was Rachel Alexandra. Rachel Alexandra came out of that race and won the Preakness, and she went on to a massive year. And Mind That Bird ran actually a good race in the Preakness that year too. Secret Oath, I think, is going to be the buzz horse here, Cap. I think everybody's going to talk about her because it's the filly against the boys. It's the coach, D. Wayne Lucas. It is the Oaks winner. I'll be shocked if that horse is 9-2. I think Secret Oath is going to be the second choice price-wise in the Preakness. How about you?
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you, as a horseman, a guy who does this for a living, and it's not 9 to 5, your life is horses, your family, and then horses, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you think that they should allow you to bet up to a certain time where I go to Hawthorne, I go on my Club Hawthorne app, and I lock in right now, and I get 9-2.
So
that
you're
point
talking
spread, so to speak, might change. But
Fucking
if I
fixed
bet it
odds
by a certain
wagering.
time, I get it.
So at Monmouth Park right now in New Jersey, and only in New Jersey, they actually have introduced fixed odds wagering. Okay. I don't mind it. As a player, I would absolutely love it. Okay. Now I'm the morning line odds maker at Hawthorne. The pressure as an odds maker not to be wrong would be insane, because if you miss, you're now costing, because it's fixed odds now, it's not parimutuel anymore, it's fixed odds. You're now costing your track money if you miss. So as a bettor, I would love it, because I'd focus on these places, try to find odds makers that I know don't know what they're doing, and there's a few tracks around the country that I know that's the case. As an odds maker, though, I would be sweating like crazy, wanting to make sure I didn't happen to miss. Because Secret Oath, like I said, 9-2 in here. I think the horse is going to be 3-1 come post time. That's a big difference from an $8 winner to an $11 winner when there's so much money being bet on a race. But what are your thoughts on it?
You're probably right. Like, I would not envy you waking up on a given day and going, all right, let me look at this field here. All right, I'm going to make that horse 6-1. And all of a sudden you get crushed.
Yeah.
But if you did it and had a time limit on it, and you could, hey, within, 3 hours before the race, you can lock in your bet. A lot of people, there's some people that are sharp gamblers, and there are others that they come there and they're pretty good. They read the form. They know what they're doing. They would not probably get there early enough and lock in enough, and they don't bet enough, but you would have a chance to take a beating on some.
My other concern would be, like you just mentioned, Eric Reed says, we don't go in a race that we don't expect to win. What happens if you start getting connections that now start setting up horses for that big score outside of the purse? That horse said all of a sudden,
right,
you ran poorly. Oh, you ran even worse. Oh my gosh, you ran even worse. All of a sudden, the morning line odds maker lays you at 20-1 off 3 terrible races. And oh, hey, we're ready now. We're gonna win now. And these guys all just start piling in on the windows at 20-1, hammering away at 20-1, and the horse wins at 3-1. That's
correct, because you can't bring the odds down far enough, fast enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the one thing that scares me a little bit about fixed odds wagering. They're trying it in New Jersey. I'd be very hesitant. I would probably push against it actually a little bit. All right, Cap. We saw the field here for the Preakness. There's a field of 9 in this spot. We'll go back and take another look at it real quickly here. Couple of horses that we know very well. Simplification coming in off a really good 4th place effort in the Derby. Secret Oath, the Oaks winner. Early voting was the horse that ran 2nd in the Wood Memorial. Then you get Happy Jack, who came out of the Derby, Epicenter, who came out of the Derby, and then Skippy Longstocking also came out of the Wood Memorial. So first off, let's talk about the horses that came out of the Derby, Cap. There's 3 of them in here: Simplification, Happy Jack, and Epicenter. So we'll start from the rail. Simplification at 6-1. What do you make of this horse's effort in the Derby?
Okay, this horse was running at the end of the Derby. Yeah. Absolutely was running. I think finished 4th. But I don't know if there's going to be a fast enough pace that's going to set up his ability to get a late kick. You know what I mean by that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just not sure. If you tell me there's going to be a pace like we saw in the Derby, it sets up well for Simplification. I just don't think he's going to get that.
Sure. All right. Happy Jack, then? Do you put another line through him? He was back in the Derby and just passed a couple tiring horses, really. He was beaten 19 lengths. He does put blinkers on. Tyler Gaffleone's going to ride this time, Cap, but they laid him at 30-1. I don't think he's going to be 30-1. I think he's going to be maybe 20-1 in here. You say no? No shot?
I'll be surprised if Happy Jack is there at the end.
All right. And then what about Epicenter? Epicenter has been awesome in recent starts. Back-to-back triple-digit buyer speed figures. He ran a huge race in the Derby, and he's your 6-5 favorite. I think he's going to be every bit of 6-5 in this race.
So I think the big question is, how much did the Derby take out of him?
Yeah.
I think it's a very, very good horse. I wouldn't be shocked if it's worse odds than 6-5. I just don't know how much that race took out of him.
Sure.
And we pile in in the plane, the van, however they got him to Pimlico, and you go, boy, this horse has been through a lot, and I don't know if he's an elite horse. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Good horse.
Yeah.
Elite to go from Derby to Preakness, tight turns, 8-hole. I'm not sure. I'm not playing Epicenter. There's no value for me.
This is where things will get interesting when we get to our plays. Here's the one thing. Steve Asmussen is a Hall of Famer. Steve Asmussen's won 170 races this year. This horse worked between the Derby and this race. Epicenter's never a fast workhorse. It wasn't a fast work. It was an easy half in 50 and 2. That was enough for me to think the horse is going to be okay. All right, now, 2 horses coming out of the Wood Memorial, Cap, that I know intrigue you. Let's start with early voting. And here's the thing. Jose Ortiz rode simplification in the Derby to a great 4th place finish. He jumps off simplification and goes to early voting. That has to be a pretty good sign for you in this race, isn't it?
Yeah, I like this horse. I do. It's lightly raced. I'm a Chad Brown guy. This horse, absolutely. 2nd place, I believe, in the Wood Memorial.
Yep.
I think this horse skipped the Derby, everything I've read, and pointed to this very race, this distance, this track, this setup. And let me just remind you, the owner, Seth Klarman, and the trainer, Chad Brown, same exact playbook to win the 2017 Preakness. And I had that horse at 13-1. Cloud Computing really ticked off Eddie Olczyk, who was on Classic Empire.
I love it. History could definitely play once again in here. And then, Cap, Skippy Longstocking. This was a horse that finished 3rd in the Wood Memorial. You and I know, both liked the horse that day at a price. It wasn't a bad effort at 17-1. I thought he could be at least worth a look here in this year's Preakness. What about you?
I'm on Skippy Longstocking in my exotics. This is a good horse. You know who his father is, correct?
Exaggerator's his father.
And that is the 2016 Preakness winner. So there's a little bit of history there. This horse is the most experienced in the field. 9 starts. Only won 2 of them, but 9 starts. His workouts have been very good since finishing 3rd in the Wood. Skippy Longstocking is live.
Skippy Longstocking, I agree, is live, Cap. But it brings us to our top selections for the Preakness, Cap. Now, for our top picks in here, it's a little interesting because the thought process is very different, I think, for us, based on what we think the pace of the race is going to be. And let's take a look at who we have, Cap. I like Epicenter in this spot. You like Secret Oath. So I'm going to let you go first with your reasoning behind picking Secret Oath.
Okay. I watched the Arkansas Derby 5 times yesterday. Literally. Watched it, ran it back. Watched it, ran it back. And Secret Oath got out of the gate poorly, got shuffled to the back. Secret Oath got an awful trip in the Arkansas Derby. This horse has proved it can run with the boys. This horse is absolutely live. I'm a huge Dwayne Lucas guy. I truly believe that Lucas is getting his 7th Preakness win. That would tie the record of winning the Preakness Stakes. I am absolutely on Secret Oath. I think this horse is live. I watched this horse run multiple races over the last 2 and 3 days, and I keep looking back and going, that horse is a monster.
She is a monster. She definitely figured things out over the course of recent starts. You got the rider change off the Arkansas Derby, and you were right. That trip was brutal in the Arkansas Derby, Cap. All of a sudden, Luis Saez gets in the saddle for the Kentucky Oaks, and people say, oh, well, you can't pick the inside horse of the Derby. Well, why can you pick the inside horse for the Oaks? The Oaks is limited to 14 starters, and the distance of the race is a little bit different. So you're going a 1 1/8 compared to a 1 1/4 compared to 20 starters in the Derby. Secret Oath got an absolutely perfect trip in Kentucky Oaks Day. The one thing I'm curious about, Oaks Day and Derby Day, unlike most times for these big days at Churchill Downs, it was not a speed favoring track. It was a back track. Horses did not win on the lead either of those days. A tremendous horse by the name of Jackie's Warrior was the only one that won on the front end on Derby Day. They just didn't win on Derby Day. So because of that, I'll be curious to see how things unfold. You did see my top selection there in Epicenter. Epicenter ran a huge race in the Kentucky Derby. I'm sold on this horse. I didn't like him to win the Derby because of the 3-hole. You just don't win inside of post number 5. And he still almost won. He ran a great race. He was a 4-1 favorite. The fact that he worked in between starts was the reason that I put him into the mix in this spot. And I'm going to put Epicenter on top. I think he's the best horse in the race. I don't think there's a ton of pace, but I think there's enough pace for him to sit just behind and run on by late. All right, that brings us to our sleepers here, Cap. And our sleepers for this race, all of a sudden, I have your top pick as my sleeper. You slide down to one of those pace horses in here in early voting, right?
I do. As I told you earlier, it's lightly raced. This horse is fresh. They bypassed the Derby, specifically everything I've read, to run in this very race. This is a legit horse. It is not an impossibility that this horse wins the Preakness. I know you laughed at me before we came on. This horse can win the race. I'm not telling you it will. It will be in my tickets.
He can win the race. Okay. I'm not going to say he can't win the race, especially because he's the 7-2 second choice on the morning line in here. Here's the only thing that scared me about early voting. The fact that Armagnac is in there, and the only way that horse wins is on the front. And then you get the 50-1 shot Fenwick, who comes in there. And Fenwick, the best race this horse ran was when the horse got the lead in that start 2 back. So do they go out there and just say, we're sending this long shot? And all of a sudden you got 3 horses across, and Fenwick, early voting, and Armagnac, and Epicenter's just able to tuck right behind and just wait for these horses to come back. That was my concern. I think that's what gives Epicenter a great shot. I think that's what gives Secret Oath a great shot, because I think there is going to be enough pace in that race. It's just a matter of who's going to come back and who's going to move fastest of all. Now, Cap, where we agree the most is when it comes to our long shots in here, because you and I are going to be on the same exact horse for our long shots. And this is the horse that we liked in the wood. I'll be curious. Do you think we'll get the 20-1 on Skippy Longstocking?
I don't, because it's a small field.
Yeah.
I don't. If you told me it was a 14, 15 horse field, a 12 horse, 9 horses, I'll be, if we get 20-1, there will be I'm not going to call it sizable, but there'll be a nice win bet to take a shot.
And I don't blame you. I would go after the horse for sure at 20-1. I think you're right. I think they missed the line. I think this horse maybe 15-1, maybe a little shorter, maybe 12-1, somewhere around
I'm guessing there. 10, 11-1.
Yeah, it depends on the amount of money to Epicenter. It depends on the amount of money to Secret Oath and early voting. I think Skippy Longstocking will go off shorter odds than Armagnac in this race. Now, we'll see if that's the case or not, but I don't think you're going to get 20-1 in this horse. Now, Cap, here's what it comes down to. Okay, we each get $100. Now, yep. we each kind of threw $100 away for the Kentucky Derby. We didn't do too good there. Okay, we're going with
not many did.
No, not many. If you did, congratulations to you. You could have bet $6, $2 across the board on Rich Strike, and you would have done better than 99% of the people because of just the way the amount of money is bet on the Derby. So we have completely different philosophies, Cap, here on how we're betting $100. So take a look, and I'll let you go first. Here's how we're betting our 100, Cap. For you, you're going with Secret Oath, and then an exacta box. For me, everything on the nose of Epicenter. So we are not going to be in agreement here at all, Catman.
We are not. I think your horse had too much taken out of it. I know that you're using the workout formula that I like to use. The horse ran. I'm not talking about the time of the workout, but the fact that they worked it out tells you the horse had some, freshness to it. I just don't think that's a special horse. I think it's a good horse. Excellent. I think it loses. I think I win with the filly.
All right, you win with the filly. You're going to need my horse to not only not win, but not finish second if you want to cash your exacta box here. So you're going to use the 3 horses you talked about, Secret Oath, Early Voting, and Skippy Longstocking. If you happen to get a 9-5 exacta in here, that's going to pay huge for the $10, Cap. I think that'll pay a couple thousand easily.
No question about it. And I'm taking my shot. I'm taking a swing.
I like that you're taking the swing, Cap. For me, I'm going to take doubling up my money. If I can double up my money on Epicenter, that's what I'm hoping for. If I can get 6-5, 7-5, throw $100 on his nose and watch him go around and win this race by 4 lengths, I'll be perfectly happy. So we'll see if that's the case. We'll see how everything goes in this spot, but that's the route I'm going to look. Now, Catman, after this race, we're 3 weeks away from the Belmont.
Correct.
What do you think about coming back and doing something for the Belmont just because we'll get a chance to talk about the Derby winner?
Rock and roll. Let's do it, baby.
All right, man. I'm in. We'll do something for the Belmont for sure. We want to remind everybody, you have the Club Hawthorne app to place your wagers on. 16 Club Hawthorne OTB locations, Cap. They don't need a reservation to come out to Hawthorne, but we are racing live at Hawthorne Friday and Saturday, 10 race cards too. I know you like to play on the app and jump in, but it's pretty easy to use, right?
Oh, it's the greatest. I just log on. Bam, there I am. That tells me my balance. It's a little less after the Derby, and let's rock and roll. So, yeah, I highly recommend using the Club Hawthorne app. And if you're a sports gambler, PointsBet, use the promo code Take That.
There you go. And as always, PointsBet Sportsbook open when we're racing live at Hawthorne as well. So many options that come out. Get all of your racing and your sports betting action in one place. But, Cap, good luck to you with your selections. We'll meet up again on radio tomorrow to talk a little further about this race. Hopefully no changes for you in your selections, my friend.
No changes. I'm locked in. And we'll also see you tomorrow on Unfiltered on YouTube TV.
All right. We're going to be ready, Cap. We'll have a good day, and we'll do it again tomorrow, my friend. Good luck.
Have a great one.